What's going on, guys? Chase Daniel here. Chase Daniel Show, episode 3. Just want to give a big shout out to my sponsor for the show, Launch Hydrate. Without you guys, it would not be possible. Win the moment. Okay, we're going to jump right in. We're going to go with a little segment I like to call Chase's MVPs. Okay, and what that is, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 guys from previous weeks of performances that stood out. People that just gave it their all, that did something amazing. And we're going to get right into it. Okay, number 1 for me, of all the games, of all the players, I want Matthew Stafford, baby. CD's MVPs is what we're going to call it. Matthew Stafford for the Rams. He was 24 of 38, 334 yards. Rams won 30-13 at the Seahawks. Who in their right mind would have picked Matthew Stafford after all the offseason drama with him and his wife? Is he going to be traded? Is he not connecting with his team? Who knows? But I was with him in Detroit, and that guy can sling it. He showed like a robotic arm, baby. It was amazing. Okay, the second MVP, I got to go with 3 guys from the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, and CMC. Purdy was 19 of 29, 220 yards with 2 touchdowns. Brandon Ayuk had 8 for 129 and 2 touchdowns. I saw this little shimmy, shake, double post route that he got turned around on for a touchdown. It was amazing. And then CMC, a beast, 22 carries, 152 yards, and a touchdown. Oh, by the way, 3 catches, 17 yards. San Francisco looks absolutely sick on offense right now. The third MVP, Tua. It's hard to say because the Chargers are my team, but he was slicing and dicing his way through that Chargers defense. 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's like the 4th most yards ever in a week 1 performance by anyone. That jiu-jitsu is really paying off. And obviously, my last MVP, Cowboys defense and special teams. They scored 2 touchdowns, 7 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. Like, what are we doing? They probably take the cake. That's for my segment called CD's MVPs. And right now, I want to bring in Matt Hamilton from FanDuel. Matt joined us last week. He's going to be joining us every week. And we are going to do a little thing we like to call line play. Matt, what's going on, man? What do you got for us this week?
What's up, Chase? I got some over-unders for you this week that we're going to play with. First up, Jordan Love had an impressive debut with the Packers and that win over the Bears. Over under 2 touchdown passes this week against that improved Falcons defense.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to go with over. I think he's going to hit the over. I actually went in and watched the actual coach's tape of Jordan Love against the Bears. And the Bears still not great on defense. However, what I saw was Jordan Love was on time and in rhythm. He was throwing off multiple platforms. I was really impressed with his game. He obviously had a completion of 51 yards, 37 yards, 35 yards, 31 yards. They're getting big chunk plays. So I like the over.
Yeah, and he did all of that without Christian Watson, who could be back this weekend. So that was really impressive. Credit to Matt LaFleur, too, for his design. And
I definitely like my over now that he's coming back. See, this is the inside information you bring that we need. I like the over. Let's go.
All right, next up, we got Joe Burrow. Obviously, a rough start up against the Browns, who have kind of had his number over the years. Does he bounce back and get over 300 yards passing against the Ravens, or do we see him continue to struggle a little bit?
I mean, he had 83 passing yards on Sunday against Cleveland. This Cleveland defense is going to be really, really good. Okay, but Joe Burrow over 300 passing yards against the vaunted Ravens defense, I'm going to go under. He's going to have under 300 yards. I do think he bounces back. It's a tough test for them again against the Ravens. I mean, Cleveland, no one really saw they were doing what they were going to do with new defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz. But what I like the most about Joe is he seems to bounce back. He seems that he's ready for this next challenge. It's just, is the calf okay? Because it sure didn't look that way last week. He took some sacks. Didn't necessarily turn the ball over as much as I probably thought, but I do like the under here with the Ravens 300 yards passing.
Yeah, and to your point with that calf, he didn't look quite as mobile as we've seen him look in the past either. So definitely something to monitor there. Marlon Humphrey, it looks like, is still going to be out for the Ravens, so we'll see if that has an impact. He has had a lot of success against that Ravens secondary in the past, so going to be interesting to watch that one. And then finally, the Jets with Zach Wilson taking over at quarterback. They score over or under 20 points against that Cowboys defense that's coming off a shutout.
That's difficult right there. I'm going to go under, and I'm going to do it for a couple reasons. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. So just overall, if you're taking the whole game, I think it's going to be under even 40 points for everyone scoring. It's two of the best defenses in football right now. And obviously everyone knows what happened with Aaron Rodgers. It's a shame, but it's Zach Wilson's team. And he's going to have a tough test. Nathaniel Hackett, that's who I'm looking at this week to have a game plan to go up against that vaunted Cowboys defense. I'm going to go under 20 points.
I like it. I think, yeah, as you said, I think I would not be surprised if we see those defenses end up as 1 and 2 in the NFL by the time the season ends.
That's awesome. Well, hey, appreciate you coming on for a quick little segment. Matt is helping produce this show each and every week, 2 times a week. He's got his hands full with FanDuel and other things that we're doing. So we just really appreciate his time. And we appreciate you guys. See you next time. Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 3 of the Chase Daniel Show, presented by Launch Hydrate, baby. Look at this. Go out, get you some Launch Hydrate. Without you guys, it would not be possible. And we're just going to jump right in this week. It's been quite the crazy week. Everyone has read and heard about what happened in week 1, obviously ending with Monday Night Football and Aaron Rodgers' torn left Achilles out for the year. Is he done for his career? I don't know, but what I do want to do is I want to bring our friend Golden Tate into the room right now. And Golden, you were with us last week. You're with us this week. You're going to become like an every show type guy. I really appreciate your time. I just want to jump right in, man. What were your thoughts last night overall about the Jets, Bills, and most importantly, Aaron Rodgers?
You know, when I saw him go down pretty much in the first drive, I was like, okay, ankle injury, rolled it. Maybe he's out 3-4 weeks. And as time passed, all the Twitter doctors started talking about Achilles. I'm like, oh, okay, they don't know what they're talking about. But then you just look at Robert Saleh's face throughout like the game. He just kind of seemed drained. And I picked up on it. I was like, this has got to be more serious than we think. Now, it worked out because Zach Wilson came in and handled business, which we're glad he did, but man, if you're that organization, you've got to be so incredibly deflated and disappointed and sad because like this was the year that things are going to change. We got Aaron Rodgers. I think when Aaron Rodgers departed Green Bay, he became a villain and we all was like, okay, screw Aaron Rodgers. And then they had Hard Knocks and we realized like Aaron's pretty awesome actually. And then we're rooting for him again. And then first game, early in the game, pop, and it's not fair how injuries work, and they're sucky.
Yeah, I mean, they are sucky. That's a perfect word for it, especially when you see a guy like Aaron Rodgers, right? Like you mentioned, everyone watched him in Hard Knocks. It seemed like he completely changed who he was from his time in Green Bay to his time in New York, that darkness retreat that everyone was talking about. Maybe it actually helped out. Maybe it worked. I don't know what happened, but he became a little less polarizing, I feel like, because he became more and more like known to the public to, hey, this guy, okay, like I get maybe what he was going through in Green Bay. He really needed a change. And when he was with the Jets, he was just so, I don't even know the word, but it was crazy to me just how much he had switched and turned. What do you think brought that on from him? Do you think it was the change in scenery from Green Bay? Do you think it's back with Nathaniel Hackett? Like, how do you feel? I mean, because that's an interesting aspect here to me, is like how he went from one thing to a completely different person that everyone resonates with.
You know, I think sometimes people just overstay their welcome. And I think it was time for him to be relocated. I think he made it very clear over the years that he wanted to be more part of the decision making, to get him more weapons in there. And I think his time just expired there. And so I don't think new starts are bad for anyone. I think he needed it. We saw that, you know, same thing with Russell Wilson. a year ago. So it was good for him. It's just really unfortunate how it ends. And I was looking on Twitter today, and I saw that a bar in Wisconsin said if the Jets lose, we will free drinks for everybody or something like that. And the Jets end up winning. And so all the fans end up having to kind of pay their tab. But like, for me, I would just say really the biggest thing is that Hard Knocks and really getting to see his personality a little bit more and see him catch that fire for football again really kind of reeled me back in for liking Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah, I mean, it was difficult to watch, honestly. On I know we were both watching, we were texting back and forth, and at the end of the night, a Twitter account, I don't even know who it was. I'll give them credit later, but it actually showed the play that Aaron, and they kept showing it, and they super slow mode it. They zoomed in, and I tweeted it out, and just because I thought it was crazy, and you could actually see the pop, and it's just like right there. It's like that to me was crushing. And everyone saw Peyton Manning's reaction on the Manning cast, like, holy cow, when he got into the cart out of the blue tent. It was just like, hey, Peyton said exactly what we were all saying. Like, hey, listen, I thought it was just an ankle sprain. Go back there, tape it up, get back in there. And for it to happen only 4 plays in, I mean, we're wishing a speedy recovery for Aaron Rodgers right now.
Now, Chase, so as a quarterback who played for a long time, and is he done or does he come back?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And that's what everyone's talking about. I mean, he's 38, 39 years old, almost 40. And when you have a career like he had, to have an Achilles injury, and not only, I don't think quite people understand like how serious your literal calf is. Like, I mean, it's gone. You can barely walk. The fact he was able to walk with the boot on is outrageous to me. It is a very, very serious injury. And more importantly, it's a very serious rehab. Okay. I don't know if he wants to go out like this. Okay. But it's going to be something that is going to be, I mean, watching, it's a 10 to 12 month recovery. Is he going to be ready for next season? Is he going to want to put in the time and effort to do it? Everyone knows he took a really, really good deal in terms of like for the team. He lost out on $12 million for 4 snaps. And so that comes into play too, from a human aspect, is like, man, like, I know he did it for the team, but that's something to watch moving forward as well. Like, hey, he can't get the money back, but it's just an interesting dynamic to me.
Yeah. So was it his left Achilles or his right Achilles?
It was his left. So everyone thought when we were watching it was his right ankle. And then you look closer, and then he when we finally figured it out, Dana Rossini, who was on our second episode that came out on Wednesday, she had it. She was at MetLife, and it was her phone. She was out there filming, and when he came out, or when he went into the X-ray room, he had a boot on his left ankle, and so you knew it was pretty bad.
So this is an awful situation nonetheless, and we are praying for Aaron because injuries suck. But if we want to find the bright side of this, as a quarterback, if you pop your left and you're right-handed, you rather pop your left Achilles than your right Achilles, right?
I'd rather pop no Achilles, but I know what you're getting to. It's your push foot versus your plant leg. If it's your plant leg, it's completely different. So that might actually, that's a great point by you, Golden. That might actually save some hope where he could come back a little bit easier. He's not really running around this time in his career. So that's going to be worth watching. Okay, I want to transition into our next segment. And this is what I'm really excited about you on, because you've played for a long time. You know your games. We're going to get into games that I am looking forward to this week. We're going to do 3 games. And oh, by the way, we're going to start with the Jets versus the Cowboys. What do you got for me on this matchup? What are you watching? What do you want to see?
Okay, so I don't think you'll ever hear me say this besides this time, but disregard the offense that's playing. And I'm a receiver, so I migrate to watching that. But I am excited to see these two defenses after the performances that these two teams put up week 1. I am excited. And just to give you a little rundown, the Jets, 3 interceptions, 5 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, and 4 PB pass breakups. Now, Dallas this week went 7 sacks, 10 TFLs, 8 pass defenses, and 12 QB hits. So
that sounds like a season almost.
Absolutely. Several guys are probably going to Pro Bowl just from week 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see the defensive dynamic there. And it's going to be really, I see this being a low scoring game.
Yes, I totally agree. I think it's a low scoring game. What do you think about? So let's just go back to the Jets. I know we just talked about Aaron Rodgers, but let's move forward to Zach Wilson. What would your words and thoughts be to Zach Wilson in terms of like, hey, this is what you need to do moving forward to not only get this team believing in you, but also to get this offense moving forward because they're loaded. They're loaded on offense. If you're a receiver in the Zach Wilson room, because you saw Garrett Wilson on Monday night, go up to him before, hey, we are with you. He threw a pick. I love seeing that. What would you say to him if you were on the team right now?
I would say be the best version of yourself. Don't try to be Aaron Rodgers. And I'm hoping that these last 4 or 5 months that he's had Aaron Rodgers in the room, he's learned an abundance of knowledge and he's absorbed it because that helps. He didn't have really much leadership, I would say, that he could rely on over the last few years. So like having one of the greatest to ever play the game, I think that's helpful. So I'm just hoping that he understands, like he made the throw to Garrett Wilson. That wasn't a great throw, but Garrett Wilson just made a play. I mean, and that was incredible.
Amazing. So, one of the best catches I've ever seen.
Absolutely. So I think just be yourself and like really just don't lose the game. Like you have a really good defense. It's okay to punt. It's okay to punt. Like find your matchups. Hit the guys that are open. You got a two-headed monster at running back that they both had really nice games, I thought. So just play within yourself. Play within yourself.
I love it. That's exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, don't lose it. Don't lose the game. Okay, let's go to the Cowboys side. I don't want to talk defense because you just said it and it was amazing. I want to talk Dak really quick about this game. Mike McCarthy, new offense. Dak Prescott, 15 interceptions last year, tied for the NFL lead. I don't think he's going to turn the ball over that much. I don't think we saw much from him against the Giants because quite honestly, they didn't need to. What do you want to see from Dak against this Jets defense, which is extraordinary?
I want to see him be more accurate. There were some times, I know it was a blowout game, but in this week, and it was raining, wet a little bit, but there were some balls that I saw him on the run throw straight to the ground. And I'm like, whoa, I did not expect to see that. Like, you should be able to make some better throws on the run and outside the pocket. So I'm expecting him to find his groove. He didn't get a chance to find that groove in week 1 because it was chaos out there. But
chaos, yeah, they were up 26-0 before like the second quarter was even over.
Right. I mean, that's wild. So I want to see you get it to your boys, get it to CD. I want to see Pollard in action doing this thing because really the Dallas offense was very underwhelming last week, but I get it. So I want to see the offense get it going, move the ball.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that was probably by design a little bit with Mike not showing all his cards, but it was a rain-soaked game, tough to go. But I'm definitely looking. I do think if I'm a betting man, I would take the under, whatever that is. I don't even know what the over/under is, but I'd take the under in this game. Let's move to Chiefs.
Before you go there,
let's go.
A cool stat. Well,
I love stats.
So over/under was 44. Okay. I took the under, and it was a team put up 40. You're thinking, okay, a team puts up 40. I'm definitely not hitting the under. The under still hit. That is wild to me.
Wild. That's crazy. One team scoring 40 points over under 44, and it hits. That's wild. Yeah. It's a good stat. That's why I like you, man. Let's move to Chiefs, Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the rematch of last year's divisional round. KC won 27-20, the old Chad Henne game. Chiefs lost their first game. Jacksonville won their first against a rookie quarterback and Anthony Richardson. What are you expecting to see out of this game, or what do you want to see from either team in this game?
Well, I think we're all excited to see Chris Jones back on the field. I don't know if anything's been decided on Travis Kelce, but they absolutely need Travis Kelce. But if they don't have Travis Kelce, I need to see something from these receivers. Someone needs to evolve to be the leader of the offense or the receiver room and be reliable, because I saw so much inconsistency from the pass catchers for Chiefs. And look, you have the best quarterback in the league. He can make every throw. He makes really fantastic decisions. He throws you open when you think you're covered. So be ready for these balls and make some plays, and you have a chance. Like, it's up in the air who's going to be his guy, but they need someone to be that guy. He needs to be confident that, okay, on third down, I'm going here. This guy's going to make a play if he doesn't have Kelce. Now, on the flip side, the Jags, okay, Trevor had a very fine game. He went 24 for 32, completing 75% of his passes. I mean, that's pretty dang good.
Accurate. Baby.
I'm really excited to see Zay Jones. I thought he made some really nice plays. Calvin
Ridley is a story, right?
I have always been confident that he's going to come back and just be on fire. And that man looked like when he was in Alabama. I mean, he was running by people. His routes.
He looked fast.
Goodness, he looked so fast. So wanted to see him, have string together 3-4 games where he just consistently making plays, which I think he can. And then the running backs, Travis did a fine job last week. And so again, this is a game where I'm excited to see the Jags offense, and I'm hoping that the Chiefs offense kind of figured out and someone evolves as, hey, I'm reliable consistently.
Yeah, I think the key to the game here is Travis Kelce, like you said. Like if he plays for the Chiefs, I like them winning. If he doesn't, quite honestly, even with Chris Jones back, the Jacksonville Jaguars under new play caller Press Taylor for the first time, I think they get it rolling and continue. Let's move to, we only have a few more minutes left. Let's move to, which I think is the most interesting game maybe this weekend, the Dolphins-Patriots. Okay, here's a stat for you. Tua against the Chargers, 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tyreek, 11 for 215. He's on pace for 3,700 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game. Mac Jones started the game off slow. Numbers look really good at the end. 35 of 54, 316, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Pats lost 25-20, which they were getting blown out early, came back to make it interesting. Mm-hmm. But this divisional game, can Tua continue against the Bill Belichick-led defense, or what do you see going, and what do you want to watch this game?
We're all watching to see if Tua can do it again. And if he does it again, does that make him a top 5 to 10 quarterback? I mean,
I think he's in the MVP race if he does something like that again right away. He's the leader in the clubhouse, not even close through 2 games.
Without a doubt. Now, Tua's QBR last week was 3rd in the QBR behind Stafford and Purdy. And Purdy, what about that guy? But I'm excited to see. This is going to be a good matchup because Bill Belichick comes with a very well-groomed team typically. Mac Jones coming off that week last week. I thought he had a really nice week, tossing the ball around. And if you really think about it, the Patriots probably beat the Eagles last week if they don't throw a pick 6, right?
Oh my gosh, I know. Talk about that's what we would be talking about this week. If the Pats somehow pull that off against Philly and Jalen Hurts and co, like that's what we would be talking about. The thing that I want to ask you too is like, about this Mac Jones guy, which everyone knows. Bill O'Brien, new play caller. It seems like they have it on. Bill Belichick's very mum on the quarterback situation. They cut their backup quarterback even before the year began. Like all this stuff going on. But if I'm a Patriots fan, I do not want Mac Jones throwing the ball 54 times, right? You got to be able to be a little bit more simultaneous running and passing the ball.
Absolutely. And you took the words out of my mouth. I don't want any quarterback throwing it 50 times, really, because that's just a one-sided game. And as you get late in the season, that's kind of easy to plan for, in my opinion. And I think Tua might have had like 45 passes. So I want to see a more balanced game. Stevenson, that running back with the Patriots, and Zeke, I think that's going to be a nice combo. I'd like to see more of those guys.
I want to ask about Zeke, though. That's a good question because I almost forgot that he played for him because he only had so many catches and touches, and the big fumble. Bill Belichick with fumblers usually don't play them again. Do you think he's in the doghouse already? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a good fit. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a good fit, and I think it's a very humbling experience for someone like Zeke to experience that, like to have consequences for fumbling. And Bill Belichick don't play that. He don't play that. You fumble, I don't care who you are. You go sit on the bench, and you learn the hard way. It's like a real life of Denzel said, when you fumble, you run a mile. And I stick my foot in your John Candy, whatever. It reminds me of that, but in real life. So, I'm excited to see this game. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game the way that they were in the week 1, but this is a nice matchup. And Miami's kind of had their number over the past few years.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you. Look, Golden, I appreciate you coming on today. Chase Daniel Show episode 3. You bring the fire every time, man. We got to do this more often. Seriously, I appreciate you coming on.
See you next week.